There will be no going back, right? Some politicians called me, several, including senators, asking, what can we do? And I made it very clear. There's one thing that needs to be done before protesting. Since 2020, I've been saying, look, we live under a dictatorship. We live under a dictatorship. We live under a dictatorship. And in fact, bureaucratically, there was no way to say, Brazil lives under a dictatorship. Why? Because the Supreme Court justices were here during the lectures. I personally went to the hotel in New York with my megaphone to expose Alexander de Moraes. I had half a dozen people there with me. There were another half a dozen, right? But there were some people there with me, and a lot of people said it was crazy, that it was madness, and I heard back then, it's important to point this out to you, I heard back then people saying, what are you doing there for? Why are you fighting for this, man? Go enjoy the United States, go work somewhere, forget about journalism. There's no way out. They're going to arrest Bolsonaro, they're going to rig the elections, they're going to destroy Brazil. There's nothing else to do. Oh, yeah, there's nothing else to do. Look what's happening right now. Marco Rubio is Secretary of State, and he's there, look. The Trump administration is banning Morales and his allies from entering the United States. His visa is cancelled. He was so keen, on canceling my passport, then he cancelled the passports of Constantino, Paulo Figueiredo, and so many others, and now he's here. How many people had their passports cancelled because of Alexander de Moraes? Now it's the United States of America that's canceling Alexander de Moraes' visa. And it's not just Alexander de Moraes. Alexander de Moraes, his family, and allies. In other words, anyone involved with Alexander de Moraes will have their visa revoked. For example, who could be deported from the United States? Lula wanted to deport me. If the production team could include it, just to remind you, Lula, Alexander Moraes requests the deposition of Alan dos Santos, and Lula wanted to exchange Alan dos Santos for a Russian spy, right? Who could be deported right now from the United States? Barroso's daughter. Barroso's daughter is here studying, right? Barroso, if you don't know, I'll show you right now, look. That's right, look. Minister Alexander Moraes asks for information about Alan Santos' extradition. It didn't happen. Whoever will be extradited will definitely be deported from the United States. It will definitely be Barroso's daughter soon. Now, there's a detail I want to show you here. Not just this Interpol request that was denied, right, look, but the case Alan dos Santos could stop the extradition of the alleged Russian spy. He wasn't supposed to be, he was, in fact, a spy, and he's in prison in Brazil. And this here, look, is the Interpol document stating that Alan dos Santos isn't subject to any list. Look, Interpol itself says that, right? Alan dos Santos doesn't have any requests on the Interpol list. Who will receive this? It won't be me, right, Alexander de Moraes? And there's one detail. What do I want to show you here? I want to show you the documents proving Barroso's company here in the United States. I have it here, saved. Apparently, Barroso's daughter studies in the United States. Exactly, Dr. Ludmila. In the United States, if he and his family members were affected by the measure, she will be deported. I don't know the girl, nor do I know anything about her. This is an example of how the harm people do often goes beyond the personal sphere and affects others, even those near and dear to them. But I'll show you the company Barroso owns and the office he has there at Brickell in Miami. So you guys are trying to arrest Jair Messias Bolsonaro, right, and destroy everything he owns. So let me look here for Barroso's documents. Very good. These are the documents linked to Barroso's company. You can print them as much as you want, right? Here, look. You can print them as much as you want. Look at these here, look. These companies here. That's right there at Brickell. Very good, that's it, production. You can put it back here for everyone to see. I'm not bluffing, this is public data, right, from the company, and he'll probably lose too, right, because he's the president of the court, he's the president of the Supreme Federal Court. So Barroso, who came here recently, I want to see him try to come here again recently, right, to the United States. For those who still don't understand, there will be no reprimand, says Eduardo Bolsonaro. Eduardo Bolsonaro made a very important video. Hey, as soon as production can post this video, I'll put it on my Instagram, okay? In Eduardo's stories, but I posted this video on my timeline, on my profile timeline, on the account that hasn't been accessed yet, right? 47 Ayla's account. I posted a very important video of Eduardo Bolsonaro there, where Eduardo Bolsonaro no longer speaks as a politician, he's speaking as a statesman. You can arrest my father, you can send Interpol, there will be no retreat. There will be no retreat at this very moment. Eduardo Bolsonaro needs all the support in the world. It's for Brazil, people, for our country, for our Brazil. He made that clear and people are saying it. Alan dos Santos' gift took a while, but it arrived, right? Oh, but it's worth it. Actually, my gift was President Trump's letter to Bolsonaro. It arrived on the same day, as I told you, it would arrive on July 17th, my birthday. Today, July 18th, one day later, Alexander de Moraes' visa was cancelled. Now is not the time to be afraid. Now is not the time to back down. There will be no I backed off from our side. I was talking, I'll speak openly to you. I took a while to go live because I was talking to politicians who asked me, they said, my brother, I'm not an intellectual, I don't understand much about things. Do you understand? Asking our team, right? To our wonderful journalists there with Max asked, okay, what can we do at this exact moment? So, if you want to cut this part and release it, well, some politicians called me, there were several, including senators, and asked, what can we do? And I made it very clear, there's one thing that needs to be done before the protest. Honking. Say, why does honking precede the protests? Because honking shows that we're not alone. A protest now would take time to gain momentum. Honking throughout the country, in several major cities in Brazil, will warm up and make people aware. Someone might ask me, Alan, but what do we need to raise awareness about today? Friends of mine, here in the United States, said, there were hairdressers, people who do nails, people who take care of cars, people who come by car, people who come from home, here in the United States, who didn't really know what was happening, or frightened by President MC Bolsonaro's ankle bracelet. Quote. In other words, you, faithful follower of the timeline, in this wonderful Lacom project, which I ask you to do, may this project grow more and more in subscribers, likes, views, and subscriptions. You are the cream of Brazil because you are wanting to know more every day, wanting to know what's behind the news, wanting to find out where the media is lying, what politicians are missing, what the people are missing. You are the future of Brazil. You are wanting to grow every day, every day. But to grow as a person, grow spiritually, grow politically, grow philosophically. But you are the exception. There are people who can't keep up every day. There are people who, even following every week, can't understand the depth of the problem. You who are distressed, you who are suffering every day, for you neither the tapping of Bolsonaro nor the cancellation of Alexander de Moraes' visa is a surprise. Especially if you were here when I said it at the beginning of the week, on Monday. In the timeline conversation, a gift is coming. I said, you who follow us know this now. Your friend, your neighbor, your coworker, he didn't know. For him, both things were surprises. Not for you, what happened with GMC Bolsonaro is a source of pain, and what happened with Alexander de Moraes losing his visa is a source of joy. But you somehow knew this was going to happen. You were following us. You may even have had a certain, how can I say? Suspicion. Oh, Alan Santos is playing to the crowd, he doesn't really know what he's talking about. But did you somehow know that we warned you? Many people don't know. So I have a request of you. Just one request. One single request. Tell your friends to go to zap.com. I'll answer very slowly. Zap. Timeline magazine, right? TimelineIngles.com. Zap.com. Because there we will warn you about the honking, the locals, of the demonstrations, because now it's all or nothing time. Now it's time to fight for real. Now it's time to fight for real. Not because of Jair, not because of one person or another, but because of Brazil. And if I don't give up, after being away from my family, away from my children for 3.5 years, I, unfortunately, came home, hugged my little Gabriel. Tomas was dying to show me a little game he was playing, and I had to say, son, Daddy has to work now. He understands, it hurts, but he understands because this wonderful family I have knows I have a commitment to you, who are watching me. So, if I don't give up, you won't give up now. We're going to honk our horns in every city in Brazil. There are 5,000 cities in Brazil, just over 5,000 cities. We're going to honk our horns to wake up those who are asleep. After the honk, we'll start demonstrating, because Brazil will not stay quiet, no. Stop the silence, stop being quiet. So, that part 1 asked you to cut, send it to your friends and your politicians, we will not back down, we will start honking. Note what I'm saying, tomorrow you will see a lot of honking all over Brazil. I don't want credit for anything, I don't need it, you know that very well. I just want it to happen. He tried to exile me, he tried to put my name in Interpol, he tried to destroy my life, he tried to destroy my financial life, and he didn't succeed. And he won't get anything against us now. He can use his pen there, he can use his Gestapo against someone like GMC Bolsonaro, but he can't use it against everyone. And do you know when we will give up? Never. We will not stop. This project was born for this moment to show that freedom has an important mission in your life. You need to be free. Freedom, it is a priority in our lives. We are here free, not slaves free to say to hey, now it's time to honk your horn, now it's time to wake up Brazil. Whoever is asleep will wake up to honking in their cars, on every street, in every capital and every city in Brazil. Every night we'll have a honking, God willing. Magno Malta has already assured me he'll do it. Gustavo Gaia was already doing it. I've seen several representatives talking to me here. I won't mention their names. They said, Alan, what do we need to do? Honk your horn. Honk your horn. We're going to wake the people up with honking. Quote, and then, when everyone is well warmed, it will be time for the demonstration, and we will not stop until we have our country free again. Quote,
People talking, Eduardo, it is impossible for the Supreme Court to acquit your father. It is a process, it is too far along, etc. People, the Supreme Court changed their jurisprudence twice to say, right, to give a false impression that they have, well, legal jurisdiction to judge a former president, because my father is an ordinary person. Any case against him should have been in the first instance, but the Supreme Court held it up to them, the Supreme Court. They committed several other atrocities. Now they are not even subpoenaing the people the defense would like to hear, all to speed up the process. If they did that, they can certainly, right? Acquit not only Bolsonaro, because that is not what I seek, but also get all these old ladies, these people who are indecently imprisoned, among other persecuted people, out of jail, okay? There are people out here who have nothing to do with this. January, and Ludmila Lins Grillo, Alan dos Santos, Rodrigo Constantini, etc. are here. So that's what I'm fighting for. It's for the future of the entire country, not just for Jair Bolsonaro. Understand this. There will be no retreat. You can arrest my father, there will be no repression. You can try to arrest me, go to Interpol, there will be no repression. You can do whatever you want, there will be no repression. I guarantee it to you. We've already learned from Alexander de Moraes that he always doubles down and is a man who keeps his word. You don't negotiate with a psychopath, a bloodthirsty tyrant. Am I lying? If sitting at the table with them and talking and making deals would have made any difference, would Temer's little letter have ended all the national persecution or not? So, Temer? How's this going? Or is it over? Let's put Bolsonaro in jail. They're putting a bunch of people in jail. They're forcing me to live in exile, and that's fine. The time has come for men to have their say. Right, and the courage to do what's right. And I'm not worried about popularity, I'm not worried about the election. I'm worried, my friends, if you're there in Brazil and you who can't get out, that the majority of the Brazilian population, if you go here in a few years, will be looking for dogs to eat on the street, just like in Venezuela. Oh, Eduardo, we're going to elect a right-winger in 2026. He'll grant amnesty to Bolsonaro. He'll just have to wait a year in jail, maybe house arrest. I've never seen such naivety. Do you think that with Moraes strengthened, anyone will approve anything for anyone? Look at the case of Daniel Silveira. Bolsonaro was president. Daniel Silveira even got out of prison. They waited for Bolsonaro to no longer be president to commit this cowardly act, but they've already gotten ahead of themselves. There's a report in the press saying the SDF wouldn't grant amnesty to Bolsonaro if Eduardo or Tarcísio were elected, because it violates the principle of morality and is still based on the same principle, right, as Daniel Silveira. So it's all or nothing time. It's either 100% victory or 100% defeat.